It's the most wonderful time of the year for a Dragonet. A whole day dedicated to them, to celebrate them, filled with joy, gifts, kin, and cake. It's a kind of innocence that's awarded to Dragonets before they take on the responsibilities of an adult. Hi, I'm your host Heatwave, and in today's lore episode, I'll be exploring Dragonet Hatching Day celebrations. Hey, Mozzie. Happy Hatching Day. I got something for you. Oh, Copper. You shouldn't have, What is it? What does it look like, Fruit Bowl? It's a jar full of clouds. Clouds? You put a cloud in a jar? Yeah, no biggie. Just something we Skywings can do. Well, this belongs on my shelf. This is very thoughtful. It means a lot to me. Thank you. Yeah. Hopefully I mean the same thing to you. What was that, Copper? Nothing. Nothing at all. Your mama said there was cake. I want cake. Welcome back to the Wings of Fire spin-off series, Empire of Pareena. If you haven't done so already, please leave a like, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe so you don't miss any episodes that I publish. Now, I've mentioned briefly about how grown-up dragons celebrate their hatching day, and for them, there really isn't much to say. It comes down to the dragon themselves, how they choose to celebrate their hatching, but for Dragonets, it's a little more exciting. That childlike wonder coming out, if only for the first 9 years of life. Now, while this episode will cover Dragonets and their Hatching Day celebrations, the cultural identity and inclusion into Hatching Day celebrations can be applied to adult dragons as well. So, a bit of a split topic episode here. So, anyway, it's a grand moment for any Dragonet, the day they become a year older. It's a significant milestone in a dragon's life. Every cycle they become just that little bit bigger, that little bit stronger, and that little bit smarter. And because it's such a great milestone, the Dragons of Pareena approach this event with great enthusiasm. Any excuse to have a ceremony, no matter how small it may be. Now, a Hatching Day celebration for a Dragonet is gender neutral. A Dragonet is allowed to express their interests in any way they want. Some young females love to dress up as soldiers and roleplay, while some males, even if they are young, care more about how they look than anything else. So the information presented can apply to any Dragonet. So what's in a Dragonet's Hatching Day celebration? Well, it's down to the Dragonet's parents how they schedule and organize the event. They will be responsible for collecting the necessary decorations and supplies. Dragonet Hatching Day celebrations are quite small in scope. They are attended mostly by close family and friends the Dragonet may have. Invitations can be a nice letter sent out across the Empire or be simple word of mouth to guests. These celebrations are held within private spaces accessible to the family, such as their own private home. Yet those who live within community housing may celebrate a Hatching Day at a public space or a Dragonet play space. Or, if living outside a major city or settlement, a family may celebrate somewhere in the environment, like a beach, for example, if we're talking about sea wings. Most of the decorations have to be talent crafted, so they are simple things like banners and small cone hats for Dragonets. Some parents go that little extra distance and set out cultural decorations or items culturally significant to the winglet. To use our sea wing example, these might be things like a coconut or an old shell of a turtle or wood carvings of sea creatures. Some Dragonet Hatching Day celebrations have a theme, inviting guests to dress up in their best attire or conform to a theme, like dressing up as soldiers, for example. For the adults, well, If they're not supervising, they are too enjoying whatever food or meal was prepared for the celebration, along with a little alcohol. On the day, the celebration will include a number of games and activities to keep the Dragonets busy, yet it's up to the Dragonet in question who makes the rules. One common party game played by Dragonets, which may have originated from the marshlands, is a game called Mudstuck. It's said to have originated from a few mudwings finding it very funny watching other winglets trying to cross some of the bogs in the marshlands, as they kept getting stuck. The game involves one Dragonet called the Mud. This Dragonet is trying to tag each other playing Dragonet. By tagging another Dragonet, they must freeze in place as they are stuck in mud. They can become unstuck by being saved by an unstuck Dragonet tapping them, reversing the effect of the game. One additional game played is a scavenger hunt. A number of items will be hidden over a space, and it's up to the Dragonets to find all the hidden items. They could be anything from numbered rocks to stuffed dragon toys. Some more entrepreneur dragons have actually made a bit of a business out of these Dragonet Hatching Day celebrations. For a few gold coins, some dragons offer themselves up as harlequins. The harlequin is a performer who just makes silly jokes and is supposed to look and act very silly in an attempt to be humorous. The harlequin was originally a Skywing tradition before the Empire. The Skywing Kingdom kept having an issue of their Dragonets wandering off when bored. The inexperienced flyers would get stuck or lost, taking a toll on the Skywings to find their lost Dragonets. Some didn't survive. According to Skywings, the monarch appointed some dragons to entertain these troubled Dragonets. And sometimes the monarch themselves viewed these performances by the Harlequins alongside the acrobatic performances in the old Skywing Kingdom. With the dissolvement of the Skywing Kingdom, these Harlequins were able to expand their audience. Over time, they trained apprentices, who continue the tradition to willing dragons. Harlequins are all independent and have to create their own costume and material, wearing outlandish costumes like a big flower headdress or a bakama made of wavy stripes. For jokes, they will use whatever they can find, from food or talent-crafted items to invoke a joke. They pull in good business. A typical Harlequin charges 2 to 3 gold coins per visit. One part of a themed Dragonet Hatching Day is of course a big game of roleplay. Dragonets could play as soldiers or create their own mini interpretation of the government, choosing their very own imperator to roleplay. One staple of any Dragonet Hatching Day celebration, in fact, any celebration at all, is of course cake. Every Dragonet loves cake. Every Dragonet likes different types of cakes. Some cold, some hot, some with fruit, and some just sweet. The cake is the responsibility of the Dragonet's parents to either make themselves if they have the knowledge, or to buy one for a few gold coins from a local baker. Yet, due to the backlog of orders that most bakeries have to fill, proactive dragons get the best cakes. Cakes aren't always served for Dragonets. There are alternatives like hard-boiled fruit sweets, just pure chocolate, or sometimes, for Rainwings, pure sweet sugarcane. Leamington squares are also another alternative to cake. Now you may expect gift giving to be something a Dragonet receives on such a day, but it's not always the case. It's not an expectation for a Dragonet to receive things like toys, but rather items of significance to their age. While a gift is more than welcomed by a dragon, for their hatching day, a parent may pass down an item of value of the family or cultural significance. This could be a simple necklace, clothing, an old Talon-made toy, or an amulet. This being the very first bit of treasure a Dragonet will ever own, and it's exciting. But this is more common among younger Dragonets. Old Dragonets around 8 or 9 may be gifted with special charms or a pendant by their parents. This is a coming-of-age trinket. It's typically exchanged as a way of declaring their attraction to another dragon. So now let's talk about each winglet and how they handle their Dragonets hatching day celebrations, or in fact, hatching day celebrations as a whole. The Skywings have a very old tradition from before the Empire times. Once they've reached around 3 or 4 years old, depending on the skill of the Dragonet, they will be ordered to participate in the Heaven's Gate ritual. This coming-of-age ritual allows a Dragonet to prove themselves as a Skywing by flying high up past the cloud coverage into the upper atmosphere of Pareena. The winds are strong and the air is thin. It's a struggle to get that high up, but proves a Skywing worthy of the title. The only way a Dragonet can prove they have completed this ritual is as they climb further into the atmosphere, ice and frost will develop over their scales. This is the usual indicator of the success. Those Dragonets who fail the ritual traditionally were cast out of the Sky Kingdom, for they were not Skywings in the eyes of their winglet. These days in Pareena, not many Skywings conduct this ritual. Those who do don't add so many consequences to failing. A Dragonet will have a chance to reattempt the ritual every hatching day celebration. The Sea Wings have a very unique cake they make for hatching day celebrations. It's called pavlova. Pavlova is simply just beaten egg whites, usually turtle eggs, and sugar, of course. The egg whites are then left in the spring or summer sun for hours to essentially cook them. The result is a hardened shell with a soft marshmallow-like center, and it's finally topped with tropical fruits. This cake has been traditionally made for Sea Wings since before the Empire times, but with the introduction of commercial production across the Pareena, the ability to make this sweet dessert has become far easier. For Rainwings, a staple of their hatching day celebrations is as soon as they can effectively talk and walk, a Rainwing Dragonet will be gifted a single pot plant. Rainwings, who are mature and responsible, will grow their plant successfully and nurture it. A Rainwing Dragonet will only ever receive one plant, but they can always ask for more. A common tradition is that a Rainwing parent will actually pass down the very seed of the plant they grew as a Dragonet, continuing the lineage of the plant. Sandwings have one interesting Dragonet hatching day celebration tradition, one that can be traced back to the time of the Tyrant of the Mojave. This tradition is where the Sandwing parents will offer their Dragonet a single cup of tequila. Tequila is an alcoholic beverage made of fermented cactus. Sandwings drink a lot of cactus water, and according to folklore, one day a bolt of lightning hit a cactus, turning the water into tequila. It is offered to a Dragonet on every hatching day celebration. While tequila is available all over the Empire, Sandwings still choose to share a cup with their kin of tequila on their hatching day. Icewings don't really have celebrations because, well, they're all a bunch of sour apples to this Sandwing, but according to Icewing ways, a Dragonet will, at the age of 5, get the very first responsibility. Yay. This responsibility can be something as simple as shoveling snow in a hallway or checking the structural integrity of an igloo. Must be really fun to be an Icewing. Mudwings make, of course, the biggest and best events. When it comes to Dragonet Hatching Day celebrations, they host massive parties, usually involving extended family and those families close by, with the host Mudwings providing a grand feast for the event, usually offering a massive crocodile or alligator as the center of the feast. During this celebration, if the Dragonet is turning 9 years of age, they get to wear a cape made of crocodile skin. Becoming an adult is a great milestone for a Mudwing. Because of this, other families will try and present their Dragonets as mates. For example, if the Hatching Day celebration is for a male Mudwing who's turned 9 years of age, the other families who are present at the gathering will try and offer their female Dragonets. The early intervention of picking a mate for Mudwings is a tradition of their clan system. In modern Pareena times, and even before then, rainwings were invited to these parties, as they brought fruit and lots of it. These rainwings were also able to offer their oldest dragonets up as mates to the mudwings. And finally, a quick note on hybrid dragonet hatching day celebrations. Just like hybrid dragonets themselves, the dominating culture of the hatching day celebration is all determined by their parents, which, depending on the area they live in, determines the dominant culture. And that concludes another episode of the Wings of Fire spin-off series, Empire of Pareena. Thank you very much for listening. I've been your host, Heatwave, signing off.